The topic is very clear. The topic is a critique of this book and concept. What we are now advising is that because the concept is inherent in the book, there is no way, there's no need to fronted the concept so the title will not be too long. Yes. That's what we're trying to tell. So it doesn't mean that she needs to locate that she's doing different. It's the book and the content of the book that is all that is.
So just remove the concept and leave it like that.
Yes.
And give the concept, remove the concept, and so read out what you have. So read out what you have now.
So I have yes. You realize that the concept related to precisely is not the concept, it's human liberation.
That is the concept.
That's the concept. That phrase central should be a critique of the self-containment. Second sex.
See, yes, sorry, sir. You know, we are just brainstorming. I have written a book, and that book I have written, to the best of our knowledge of what she explained, addresses the issue of women liberation. Now, what she's going to do is to either agree and disagree if this book addresses that women liberation. And that's what
Do you know that the women liberation is in the second sex?
Is it nice? It's not stated clearly.
The theme of the book
We have
is
been
women liberation.
That is the one.
We have been the one. There are three concepts there. You have second sex, you have the concept, and you have women liberation, all in this title.
Yes.
We have eliminated second sex.
No, we are not.
No. We have eliminated the concept, the word concept.
Yes.
Because it's inherent and applied. That is it. The next concept then is women liberation. Is there? That women liberation is the one that is inside the second sex.
Is there now? We are not removing it.
It's expressed.
We are not removing it. What we are saying is that the title should now be Critique of Simone de Beauvoir's the second sex on women liberation.
No, it's wrong.
Okay, which one is wrong?
Women liberation in the second sex. A critique of women liberation.
In the book.
It's one focus second sex.
Let's know what you have. Let's have what you have.
Yes.
What Professor Douglas has said is not different from what we have in the existing law. Women liberation, a critique of Simone de Beauvoir.
That column is very wrong. We are moving that phrase.
Fine. If you are referencing it, the body is sent.
Yes.
We are no
The final word. Let's move on. The candidate has done very well. Let's move on.
So remove it.
Critique of women liberation is from Beauvoir's second sex.
A Simone de Beauvoir's
And italicized
Of women liberation.
Not a critique.
critique of women liberation.
Of women liberation in Beauvoir's second sex. Very short and concise.
See how the brainstorming, how to arrive at a PhD topic. You see the sacrifices we are making to ensure that we get this PhD. And you represent us very well.
So that's the
You'll be an ambassador of the faculty by the time you get the PhD. Because you don't carry the PhD on your forehead. Nobody carries the PhD on his or her forehead. It's when you talk, somebody will say, who is that person? What is his qualification? They will ask questions. You see how our colleagues are doing the job on an empty stomach. Please. I hope the authorities are listening.
Ishmael is here. Permanent.
All right, so we'll move on. Abstract.
So you will rephrase that your first sentence to reflect the new topic. With the new topic. That is the very first sentence. With the new topic. That is the very first sentence. The study examines women. The study is
Yeah, they can be coming inside the text.
Okay.
Only people on the topic for the
Noted,
title.
move on.
Okay, please on line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have the study employs in quantitative research. I think just the study is in quantitative research. So you delete the
Employed.
9.
Not very much.
Just say is.
Yes, we call it.
I want, before I explain that before, I think you, I want, before I explain that before, I think you, I'm sure you have something in mind, and it's even in capital. But maybe before you have to post it somewhere in the after because somebody that doesn't listen and want to understand, don't think it's important to, it's necessary to. So it must be becoming.
Yes. It's and I use this in the sense as an author, I have a book called Becoming Phenomenon.
Sorry?
What?
As an author, yes, I offered a book called, I offered a title Becoming Phenomenon. So the becoming there is used in the sense of a woman evolving. I understand.
Yes, but not everyone understanding in that light. It might, it opens once up for confusion. And ambiguity.
Especially if it's very gender
Especially when you are not a specialist.
And also in feminist theory, it's a word. Or maybe it's one way to
Yeah,
explain.
just explain what you mean by that becoming. It takes care of that. Background. Statement of the problem. Motivation is there, right? Background, yes. Statement of the problem. Second point. Second bullet. Just complete that. Madam?
Yeah, second bullet. Yes. The problem of this study, can she read what you can say?
Okay, the problem of this study highlights the idealistic and unattained concluding assumption.
Don't wait. The problem of this study highlights, or the problem of this study highlights. The problem this study highlights.
Yes. Correct.
And
The problem of this study is life. Not the problem of this study.
it does not stand as statement of truth. Even when it is a professional self. So what is the problem of this one? Even I'm looking at the third one self.
Yes.
Fourth one is
So
more.
what's the problem?
The problem is that in the second sex, Simeon de Beauvoir asserted in her conclusion that the free woman is born, having highlighted what it means to be an independent woman. And so I am bringing it down to in our contemporary time. I see the statement or the declaration the free woman is born as problematic, being that women liberation is still a movement in progress.
The first one, all you need to do is expand. The second and the third bullet I will actually die, not to have. Just accommodate scholarship in this first one. Accommodate research in this second one to balance it. Because you have identified the fact that women liberation are continuing to encounter systemic barriers. You are correct. In some places, not in my house. It's possible. Maybe we are also where all that is. Yes, where I am, it can't happen. So you also need to be very flexible with your use of words. Because this thing is not as general as you see.
Yes. Okay, noted. Aim and objective.
So what you help on you restructure, just go to the topic and it has the topic to stand as your objective.
Not only that, go through all the work.
Okay, method. Method of the study.
So, okay, are we on method already?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Scope. Significance of the study.
So the second point, study presents a framework for activists and advocates to create sustainable programs and projects that encourage women empowerment and offers actionable and concrete strategies for women education. Is this thing not happening? So it should be to strengthen. So it's happening.
It's already happening.
See, to
Strengthen.
support or strengthen the current framework
Effort.
for activists. Your issues about gender, you have to be very careful in your choice of words so that you don't generalize and want to talk.
Noted. Literature review. Theoretical framework.
I think
Yeah, is it what?
you think should come first.
As a concept of as conceptual.
Then your theoretical framework. Which of the theories are you using? Because you just said feminist theory. Which of the feminist theory?
It's just like a school of thought.
So which of them are you using? Which one is your theoretical framework? Which of the feminist theory? You said your theoretical framework, you have looked at gender theory, which is also false. But gender theory is broad, feminist theory is broad. So which of the feminist theories and which of the gender theories are you using as your anchor point for your analysis?
In the main work, I reviewed different authors.
No, not authors.
Theories.
Have you heard of?
Authors who propound.
Forget about authors now. Let's discuss feminist theories. We have different strands and different feminist theories, both the Western and the domestic ones in the name of Africa. Even the ones that also emanated from the University of Harvard, which people have quoted in different occasions. Now,
Which one? Let us know.
the one from English. You can't remove Ogundipe's dualism. You cannot run away from it. So it's also from our
Which one did you use? Which one did you use?
Western feminism.
Which one is Western feminism? Are you talking about liberal feminism, radical feminism, Marxist feminism? Which of them? Notice. What is she noting?
No, let her notice.
What is she noting?
Not there.
She needs to understand what she
What you
noting.
need to note in, yes.
When you just say notice, you still come back
I
and
think
say,
what she has done. I think what she has
In other
done.
words, like saying that you have to be very specific about the
What she
theory,
has done.
not the general analysis of the theories.
so those one feminist, what you have done is feminism and gender, the concept of gender and the concept of feminism. You just push them to conceptual framework. Yes. Then when you now come to this point, you will now explain what that the particular feminist theory I'm utilizing and the particular gender theory I'm utilizing. And don't also forget, because I also looked at your work. You know that it's just like performance theory and theater theory. You know that it is even feminist theory that gave birth to gender theory. Are you aware? It is even feminist, and if you look at it, gender theory is broad. Even feminist theory is part of gender theory, but it was the feminist theory that gave birth to this gender theory we are now having now, and people are now brainstorming on it. So even when you do that your review, you must be specific to tell us the kind of feminist theory that you are now using. And the moment you get that theory, it will also affect your analysis.
Yes.
Because that's what two of us have been discussing since. Because if you are using, for instance, if you are using African feminism,
then you have to be radical.
in your analysis of your critique of Simon de Beauvoir's concept of second sex and women liberation will now be anchored based, will now say it did not agree with
Yes.
the African feminism, here it agrees with it, and then you now make your position. And to be very clear, anything outside this, if you don't anchor it on the theory, at the end of the day, you just be talking on air. But once you anchor it on the theory, you will just carry the theory and use it to interrogate, and you have it.
Coming from second sex on women liberation is already pointing to that direction, but it's not enough. You don't have enough. You said critical. You're critical here. And what you are supposed to be doing is to look at it as two sides of the same coin. So one side is fully, anchored. The other one is partially. We're saying,
I would say is your work touches Christianity. I would say is your work touches Christianity. You need to understand Simone Global very well. She's a friend of Jean Paul Sartre. She's the father of Christianity. It's from Jean Paul Sartre that she learns all these things. Are you understanding? So you should be grounded a little in Christianity because somebody will come out ask you a question. Now again, your work is not so difficult because you've understood where you're going. There are areas from you can push there are the areas that are going to push it. It's vulnerable in so many areas. That's what you need to articulate very well and gather them as the negative aspects. For instance, let me give you an example, just one word. She is telling you that biology is conventionally imposed by men on women. Are you understanding? Which means the biological system of a woman which has to give birth to a child to her is created by men. Because men naturally. But there are some innate rules nature has attributed. Nobody can be greater than nature. Wonder what it is. Everyone say it. So pick these areas. You're not to know that. Pick the negatives, pick the positives, and arrange them. That will also help to direct your answer. Just you are in order. So that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you, sir.
To add to what
Yes.
no, you are not. You are department.
No, I'm adding to it. Yes, yes.
I think she's on course because this work has a specialist team from that perspective.
So it's not just about feminism, but grounded in specialism in general.
So I have to take note of that.
So you let's slap her out now. Moses. So 2 months ago, Moses. 1 more after Moses.
Moses.
10 minutes.
Good afternoon, lecturers and students. I am Omar Moses Ijomba. The topic is Canon de Montesquieu and the doctrine of separation of power, implication for the independence of the judicial arm of government in Nigeria. When we talk about the independence of the judiciary, we are talking about a view that the court impartially uphold the law and resolve conflicts without any external influence or preference. But what we have seen in recent times is that In every form of political disorder, the court seems to be the only arm of government that suffers the most. For instance, sometime ago in Rivers State, basically in 2014, the sitting governor locked up the judiciary, locked up the court for more than a year just to achieve his political interest. And he did not even put into consideration that such acts are limited people or to limit people from easily accessing justice. And recently, people are beginning to ask if judiciary is actually is still the hope of the common man as he tries to portray. We have seen that judiciary is not very difficult to really conclude if they still discharge justice or defend justice as due as supposed. Our research author, we have traced this problem to what we call excess accumulation of power into the hands of few individuals, lack of financial autonomy, and also the problem of inadequate funding. Basically, almost especially, the four constitutional provisions for the appointment and removal of judicial officers. As a method, we use the qualitative method using hermeneutics as a philosophical, a branch of knowledge that this is with interpretation of language, whether it comes in form of written or spoken word. Our research author is Baron de Montesquieu. Montesquieu had in his book, The Spirit of the Law, written in 1748, said that humans in the natural world, we are not self-conflicting, we are kind to each other, but that our engagement into a civil society imposed in certain character traits, certain social milieux, such as mistrust and all kinds of social milieux. In other words, he was also saying that the civil society imposed in man certain factors such as the quest for self-preservation, the quest for self-interest, the quest for power and status. On that note, Montesquieu said that it would be unwise to accumulate political powers into the hands of one single individual. A situation where an individual is both the judge and adjudicator, it is very possible for such individual to commit tyranny. On that note, he said that our political system be divided into three different arms: the legislature, the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. For him, whereas the legislators are gifted with the power to make laws, it is duty of the judiciary to interpret these laws, while the executive is there to implement these laws. Montesquieu also gives the possibility of these people abusing this power. So he said that there should be room for checks and balances. That whereas the executive has derived from it, the judiciary can check them, can observe them, and then this put together will lead to, will safeguard our system of government. Literature is in. We reviewed politics, reviewed concepts of separation of powers, and then independence of the judiciary. Politics, we also, let me just summarize. Okay. So what we are looking at, our question is, the practice of separation of powers in Nigeria does it really fall with the ideas of separation of power as proposed by Baron de Montesquieu? A summary is that we critically examine the concept of separation of power, its importance in protecting individual liberty, averting abuse of powers, and also promoting good governance in Nigeria. We recommend total adherence to the doctrine of separation of power if it must be practiced. We also recommend adequate funding for the judiciary so that they don't live at the mercy of other arms of government. We also recommend an uninterrupted checks and balances among these bodies, and also, on a serious note, a remodified concept, a remodified constitutional provision for the appointing and removing. The work open to understand better the concept of separation of power in the elected democracy, challenging the conventional notion of the importance of judicial independence in safeguarding Nigeria's democracy. Thank you.
We're very right on time. Okay, topic. Okay, go. Abstract. Any other thing on that page? Abstract.
We'll be allowed to do that. Do what has been said.
Okay. You know what I've said, but the content. Background to the study. Background. That was the spirit of the law. It's a book, not a chapter or an article. It's a book, right?
Yes, sir.
So it tells not in quotation mark open and close. Is it published?
Yes.
Published 2022. The bullet number 3, number 4. No source. The judiciary.
Judiciary. The judiciary.
Give a source. Statement of the problem. No problem.
Statement of the problem.
He has complaints, known complaints. Then the second bullet should not even be found.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that means.
So state your problem clearly and precisely, right?
So can he tell us
What's the problem?
statement of the statement? Or the statement of the problem of this family?
We looked at the problem of excessive political influence on the judiciary as contributing to the reason why it's saying that judiciary has lost its place in the society. It has got to a point where when a particular judgment favors an individual, they say that it is an aid to our democracy. When it doesn't favor the individual, they say that our democracy has been raped.
No,
that is because of
what you're saying is not academic. It's just a normal thing. These are things you know. So make it academic. Not just to say that when they give one judgment. We know that we are complaining about it.
Okay. So excess accumulation of power in the hands of individuals or group of individuals.
We already know those things. We know it that power in Nigeria is in the hands of few. So can you make it academic?
Create a problem out of it.
Okay.
Are you going to create it?
On a general note, I think they should play with the initial cap, not capital.
Yes. Those who are not presenting, note it. Settings must be initial caps, not capital.
You talk about what you know and what we all know. It's no longer academic. It becomes more like story. So you must look for a way to tie it. Let it be new, because what you're saying here is what we all know. And what makes a work original is the fact that even what they think they know, you are digging into something that they will not even think of it. And then they will begin to be interested in it. If you say the judiciary was locked, they did this. We know all those things. We are part of it. We experience it.
We are part of those that locked.
We are all aware.
We don't know.
The judiciary was locked.
We are part of those
We were part of those that locked. So what are we talking about? Reverend was part of those that locked. So what we're saying is, it is not just saying what you know we know. Because that's what is happening. Yes. You are aware that some of these things you are saying are things that are in the public domain. So how do you make it academic? and it will be original, and it will not contribute to knowledge. No problem. There's no problem of the study, but you have problems as an individual, which you are expressing. But how are you going to make that problem academic? That's where the problem is. That's why I said there's no problem in the problem. Or the problem of getting a problem is usually fall back to the question you do ask.
Yeah.
What is in your mind? What are you doing this research?
The truth of the matter is, see, we have a fundamental issue here with respect to formulation of statement of problem. It runs across most of the work. In stating your at this level, PhD level, is stating a statement of problem. You have two sides. One is academic, the other is reality. The academic is the lacuna you get as a result of reading in the course of your reading, right? Then the reality gap, the reality problem. Again, let me make the point that in most cases, students tend to look at the denotative meaning of the word problem. So you see all of them, they are looking for something negative. So that is the problem. No, not necessarily so. The problem of your research work is in the topic. I always tell my PhD students, look, if you cannot turn your research topic into a question, you don't have a problem. You don't have a reality problem that research wants to solve. Now you look at your work, for example. What are the implications of what is his name now? Of Baron's doctrine of separation of powers in or for the independence of the judicial arm of government. You see what he just said. You know most of the other things, but this particular thing you don't know. That's what you want to find out. Are you following what I'm saying? The implication of this man's work. If we use an eyeglass on this man's work, this Nigeria situation, what can we say? Are you getting it? That is a problem which your work wants to solve, both in scholarship and in reality, in society. You get it now? So not looking at problem, negative this thing that where you find more negative. I call them complaints, personal challenges. But you get the point you're making. Great.
So formulate your problem along that line. State it along that line. Let's move on. Aim and objective.
The aim does not align with the standard of what we have agreed as aim. Your aim should be wrote around your topic, not to physically examine the independence of the judicial arm of government in Nigeria.
Noted.
Let the aim just sound like a topic.
Okay. Objective.
And same issue. That's one issue. So you are going to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the judiciary in Nigeria. How will you do that? Go to the Supreme Court. How will you do that? Has he done that anymore? How will you achieve that your aim? That your objective? Because it's not even in your work. And whatever you have been able to establish must be addressed in the work. Where did you identify the strength and weakness of the Nigerian judiciary? Where? Chapter what?
See, whatever you cannot mention,
Don't say it.
don't put it here. There are some of the objectives you state. You need empirical data for you to be able to address those and some you need secondary data will be okay. But when you state like what is being referred to now, and then at the end of the day, we cannot see any clear, analysis of data or anything, but you just the work is not complete.
Can we make the second to the last bullet and the last?
Even the 3 and 4, the question of how will also
Because
come.
because it's not enough to just give us insights and not giving us, ideas as to how to tackle the problem. So if you can merge those two, I think it would work out. That's aim and objective. The second or the last bullet and the last bullet, I am thinking that they should be merged.
The last bullet, what do you mean by that?
Just providing insight. So if you are provided the
Maybe
insight,
it has a different
then you
definition.
can, after providing insight, tell us how to tackle the problem. That's what I'm saying. They should merge.
Why is he going to provide the insight?
Policy recommendation or policy. So that's what I'm saying. You merge them.
You can make not providing it. If recommendations is making for policy reforms.
Yes.
Yes, will affect both government
And group. Different groups. So merge those.
So how can that even be? How can that even
Be an objective. That's
because it's obvious you are going to propose, solution. So why are you putting that as an objective?
You propose a recommendation, definitely. So you don't have objectives. No, he has only one. Yes, that's what I understand.
because identifying the strengths and weaknesses.
So go back to your work and see how you can operate with other objectives, right?
Okay.
Because you say it's only one objective, right? Number one. Yeah, so say it's number one only.
Number one,
You can stand.
the rest cannot. The rest cannot.
So get back and formulate your objectives. Okay? Method.
The method of the study now. We are now beginning to have another crisis. Bullet number 2. Bullet number 2 is scoping the work now. Bullet number 2 is almost scoping the work in the method of the study.
That's correct. It's the same thing you said on that scope.
So are you now telling us that you have a specific book that you are going to be using to evaluate the doctrine of separation of power?
In the primary sense. In the primary sense. The spirit of the law is the primary sense.
There are other texts.
Yes, the other ones are secondary sense.
No, let's get it wrong. The primary text is the spirit of the law. That's the title of the book.
That's exactly what it is.
That did what?
The spirit of the law is a book written by Byron the Morton, where he made the explanation of it.
Significance of
Is it possible when we go to your chapter 3, we will be educated that people have done a lot of work on the issue of judicial autonomy? Because as you're making those your claims, the claims will be verified. The second bullet.
at the Pascal level, right?
Yes. And the appointment process, financial autonomy, and allegations of corruption concerning the judiciary.
That second bullet is so crowded.
Not just crowded, that makes no sense.
This issue of financial autonomy, financial autonomy, that one should look at that kind of clause, those kind of clauses look at it. Just go first. Because if you, I don't know, I think your work is based on Nigerian experience, it's not. In fact, your hands are full when you know about the judiciary today in Nigeria. You shouldn't lack what to say, you shouldn't lack data. A lot of writings, internet, everywhere, social media. The judiciary is on the lips of every Nigerian, even the non-literate, I must say. So what they have to, this is your bullet here, just discussion about the freedom of what? The judiciary. The judiciary is caged, it's gagged. Just go straight to it that this will help the authorities in the judiciary to understand that they are in fact in bondage.
No, now, sir, that's where I have a problem. As you speak,
Yes.
you have not read some of the works or the policies of the judiciary. You have not knowledge if some of these things are captured. Some of these things about financial autonomy, financial independence, it may have been captured in their book.
But what we are saying is this: you cannot go to such details in the bullet.
No, what I'm saying is that this point cannot stand because whatever point you're saying as your significance must be something that you're generating.
Okay, wait. Are you saying that the judiciary, by implication, by virtue of their nature, should exercise certain level of independence?
Who told you they are not?
I'm asking.
I'm asking you, who told you they are not? They
They
are.
So if they're entitled to their, I mean, are they independent?
You are the one saying so.
Yeah, but in their books, it's not
They
like
are independent. The judiciary is independent.
it's independent. So to say.
Is it what you are getting off for them by God?
Let's proceed. We have three arms of government, and we are told that the three arms of government are independent. Are supposed to. You are not using the word supposed. They are qualifying independent.
Or are they actually independent?
They are not.
They are not.
Let me tell you. The appointment of the judicial officer is not the way we just see it. It's conversation. It is not the way we are seeing
I
it.
think you are looking at it from the empirical perspective. By virtue of the jury, as they say, the jury, that's what we want. But this guy is not about from experience or what we.
Which experience? Is he a lawyer?
If you read it down, you research it.
Which book? You can't say that.
Whose book is this side of put the argument in context? Please. I want to say that we are making a lot of sweeping statements. The gentleman, the man that is standing and defending his work, he needs to speak to his work based on what he has found out.
That is it.
Let us not please. Yes, let's not sideline it. Yes, and we go.
I think, yes, like you pointed out, the judiciary, we started by defining what we mean by judicial independence. That the court impartially oppose the law. Impartially oppose the law.
You can't say that.
Listen.
Let him speak. He has the floor. Let him speak, please. Let him you respect. Let's hear.
Go on now.
Okay. It's already there in 17 subsection 2E of the 1999 Constitution as amended. That judiciary impartially oppose the law and resolve conflicts without any external interference. Now, yes, we can agree that for the provision of the Constitution that judiciary is independent. But look at it. Look at the appointment process. If it is there that the executive arm that appoints the judiciary upon the recommendation of the NJC, it is still left for the executive to decide whom to appoint, as long as the person figures his interest. For instance, in Rivers State, there was a time when Justice Okocha was recommended by the NJC to Rotimi Amechi, and he turned it down because of loyalty preference. He appointed Justice Aguma. Even in Imo State, NJT asked Uzodinma to appoint another person. Like said, to appoint Theophilus. So what I'm saying is that the appointment process also frightens judicial officers for discharging their duty, and that makes it difficult for we to believe that they are actually independent as they suppose. Also, look at the case of financial autonomy. They have to depend on the other organs for them to be able to carry out their full function. Even in 2019, even if we say that it does not have any constitutional backing, Buhari just woke up and decided to suspend the water. Does it now tell that Bishop is actually independent? Even if it does not conform with the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the act was carried out and nothing happened.
Okay,
So this question independence
can you
of
just
Chairman.
relate this to your work? Let us understand.
Please. The reason why, just information. It's an academic environment, and we have to be guided. We shouldn't encourage people to make sweeping statements that are not verified. For example, the appointment of a judicial officer. You don't know the procedure. Yes. You don't know, and you're not backing it up. Please, excuse me. You are making sweeping statements, and it's not good for you to mislead people. There is a procedure of appointing a judicial officer.
How fair is that procedure?
You are not the one that will say it's not fair. You have to do an evaluation and come up with facts to say it's not fair.
He has done the
He has not done it. You are not saying it. For example,
all these instances is citing.
where is it?
All the instances is citing.
Okay, wait now. And then wait. What is the source? What is the source? What does that tell you? Please, open it. You know why we are discussing enough. We're discussing an institution, and we're academics, and we shouldn't be misled by personal objection to certain issues, and you claim that even though, for example, I've never appointed a judicial officer before. And whoever appointed a judicial officer must have premised it on a law before appointing. For example, I've never seen a lawyer that just left office yesterday or that was just called to bar appointed as a judicial officer. I've never seen. It means there's a procedure. So when you make those statements, it must be backed with sources, not your own opinion of what you saw. I think we should take his medical review. If some of those things are yes,
But let's give an example. Why
his work?
Nobody knows. He has cited examples.
You know the example is citing. I am not documented somewhere where you can find. And if the teachers don't know how the judicial officer is appointed. Everything is in the work.
Let's move on, please.
Attention, one hand.
In as much as we respect the authority of the researcher, we are duty bound to interrogate those observations. And that's exactly what we are doing. The researcher has said that it is contained there, and those who have read the work have said we are there. So, can we proceed?
Yes.
Please. Literature review. Of the judiciary, the last bullet there. I hope it's not just review of concepts you are doing. I want to do a thorough review, right? Okay. Theoretical. How many theories? One. Supervisor, is the theory appropriate?
Only one theory.
Theory of separation of powers.
Only one. Is there a theory like that?
Yeah, is there a theory like that?
Yeah. There's a theory like that.
Is there a theory like theory of
Is
separation
it
of
a
powers?
theory?
Is it a theory or concept? Is it a theory?
It's not actually a theory. It's a doctrine. It's a doctrine. No, it's a doctrine. It's a theory. That has come to play since 1748. One of the theory of special power. Somebody doctrine is a somebody theory of the operation of power. It's a theory. Since 1748. It's a theory. Okay. A standard theory.
We are learning. We are all learning. It's a learning process.
So that is one of the authors. The SPO is also there.
Okay, no thanks. Move on. Summary of literature review. That in the literature, not in the literatures. That in the literature. Scholars, why does it have to be capital S?
Okay.
Move on. Summary of findings. Summary, that should be summary of findings. Recommendations.
Remove the first bullet.
That bullet is not
Remove the
there.
bullet.
Okay.
When you put something in column, when the other ones that start small letter.
They can. Yes, small letter. That should be the T should be small. All of them. Thank you. All of them.
Contributions to knowledge.
Remove the first bullet also. Okay, so leave it as stand.
Contribution to knowledge.
Yes.
I am yet to see one. Number one said, the study contributes to understanding of principle of separation of power. Everybody knows that. What is the unique thing that you have discovered that you have contributed to knowledge? What is you have here? They are things that even someone that is doing that in one of school can actually mention them. What's that unique thing that you have contributed?
There are certain shortcomings in the practice of separation of power.
It's not already.
Go back to your gap. Get back to your gap.
Go back to your gap.
Fill that gap.
Yes.
Okay? Go back to your gap. Draw your contributions from your gap. Say exactly what is new. What is new? What are you bringing to the table that's new? That's based on your review of literature. Others did not do. And you are not doing. Then give us the substance of that newness. Okay? Give us the substance of the newness, what you are bringing to the table new. Not just enough to say that, oh, other scholars have sit at this school, but I'm not that way. How? Explain. Latina, thank you. We'll take one more before the last online. The last person will be online. Let's take one more. So we have one to go after this person. Victoria. The other one has been stepped. The last one has been stepped down. The last person has been stepped down. We'll take him in the next event. Let's not have one or two problems. Yeah, victory. After victory, the last one is online. So, the next by 3:15 we should be here up for here 3 times. Yes.
You said somebody was stepped down.
Yes. The last person. We'll take him in the next batch. We'll tidy up the house later. We'll tidy up something later in the department. From our department, we'll tidy it up. Let's not watch our dirty videos. We'll tidy it up. I know you have the right to know, but take it from me that there are some misgivings with the presentation in the department.
Okay.
So we'll step it down and come back next time. We already have, maybe before the end of the month, we might take another one.
Yeah.
But once we start with the exam now, no defense during exam. So we'll take one more before exam. Yes, yes, sir.
I just want to ask if the fault is.
No, the candidate, he knows. It's aware, we have resolved it. The candidate is aware.
Candidate's issue
Yeah, it's the candidate and the lecturer
on the project. Sorry, Prof. I'm just asking.
I want to just see the website. Let's progress now. Matter is step down, it's not imperial.
It's not unjust to the student. The student is aware. The student himself has agreed that he will step down.
But he said it's not.
Here.
Please, let's proceed.
Here, I want to make an appeal. Just a little appeal. Unfortunately, the students are here. I know this kind of thing. You don't need before them.
Yeah, let's not say it.
No, because
Feel that.
we need. Okay, there's nothing wrong with let the students also know that we are both for them and for us and for them. If a work has moved from your table to us and we all have comments, to the best of my knowledge, it has left your department. So it has left your department. If we evaluate the student and the student succeeds, your department has already, the time they were supposed to stop the student, they didn't stop it. And don't forget, based on, you are not here as a department alone. You're here as the chairman of this market. And don't forget, one of our interests is to make sure that our students will graduate in due time, or in record time, so that we can be having more students. And so if a student, except the student involved has not been presented to us yet, if we have the work of the student, I want to make an appeal and let that student, for the sake of your colleagues that are at the faculty, when you go to your department, you can tell them that you're not your time, because it is no longer your departmental matter, so that we don't demoralize those who have made effort. When we evaluate the work is not good. Please, I'm making that appeal. It's an appeal, sir.
Well, I do not want to go into details. I don't want to go into details about why the work is being stepped down. Because I am more of an insider. So, on one aspect, and on the aspect, as the chairman of this committee, I have the responsibility of whatever my department says I should do based on recommendation from my department. Because some of that will die. But for now, my chairman of the parental graduate board has just called me and said, please step down that work on one ground. He said he wants me to begin to open up issues. When we open up issues, then my prolonged matter.